Call the meeting to order. All rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Roll call, all members are present. Approval of the agenda. Under 7B, under approved boards and commissions, I also want to include, we have some remaining openings at the council level for the boards and committees there. I want to handle that tonight also. So, is there?
Yeah, there's one more 7G EMT advancement. That's for this one.
Okay. And then 7G is the EMT advancement. Is there any other changes or additions? Hearing nothing, do I have a motion to approve the agenda with those changes?
Motion to approve.
Motion by Diane, do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Joel. Call the question. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 5 in favor, none against. Approval of the minutes of the February 19th, 2020 regular meeting. All received them in your packet. Is there any changes, corrections, clarification needed? Do I have a motion to approve the minutes of the February 19th, 2020 meeting?
Motion.
Motion by Keith, second by Heidi. Call the question. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 5 in favor, none against. Now it brings us to our public open forum. Is there anyone here that would like to speak to the council? Is there anyone that would like to speak to the council? Is there anyone that would like to speak to the council? Our public open forum is now closed. Public hearings. We have one public hearing, so we will recess the regular council meeting and move into our public hearing. We have a public hearing before us this evening regarding the 3-2 off-sale liquor license application for Coburn's Incorporated. It is our intention that everyone has the opportunity to be heard. If you wish to speak, please sign in on the sign-up sheet at the back of the room. The procedure is as follows. Presentation by staff followed by questions of staff, then public input. Raise your hand. When recognized by the mayor, approach the podium and state your name and address for the record. State your comments and position. No one will be allowed to speak a second time until everyone has had a chance to be heard. First, we will hear questions for clarification, then public in favor of the proposal, third, public speaking against the proposal. After everyone who wishes to speak has had the opportunity to be heard, the hearing will be closed. After closure of the public hearing, the council will deliberate and take action as appropriate. Members of the audience do not participate in the council's discussion unless a majority of the council concedes to hear additional information or questions. The hearing is now in session.
Okay. Coburn's Incorporated at 214 12th Street has requested a 3-2 off-sale license at this location. Granting of the license would authorize them to sell 3-2 off-sale liquor. This is a new liquor location. They previously had an off-sale 3-2, and the last time they had that was in 2015, so it is considered a new location, and as such, they do require a public hearing. We did have a legal advertisement was published notifying the public that the hearing would be scheduled today at 6:30 or shortly thereafter. The license then would become effective on March 15th. We did receive the application, the public hearing fee, the license fee, the background check, and their workers' comp, and also their state license application that we would send in after it is approved by the city. So the council is to conduct the public hearing, as you said, and then upon that, we would have action under action item 7A. Does anybody have any questions about the 3-2 license?
Questions, comments? Okay, then we will go to, is there anyone here in the audience that wants to need clarification or speak in favor or against the proposal? Is there anyone here for clarification to speak in favor or against the proposal? Call a third time. Is there anyone here that wants to speak for, need clarification or speak in favor or against the proposal? Seeing no one, our public hearing is now closed. We will reconvene the regular council meeting. Reports and presentations, EDA report.
So the EDA met today in regular session. They had one item on their agenda today, and that was to consider an application for tax increment financing. This would be by Felling Trailers for the construction of their paint and finish building that would be located on the former racetrack property. And so after the meeting, during the meeting, the EDA is recommending that the city council call a public hearing to consider the request. That won't be an action item for you until the March 18th meeting. In the interim, we'll be getting some numbers run from our consultant regarding tax increment to see really what kind of assistance that would provide. And it's based on the building that they build. So until we have all that information, we should have that prior to the council meeting when you would be requesting to call the hearing. And if we do it on that date, there's different timelines that have to happen, and it is our goal to get the district certified by June 30th, because if you have it done by June 30th, then everything starts 1 year earlier. They do have the option to go after June 30th and start everything a year later. Their construction would start at the same time, sometime this summer, but the first payment would be delayed, which then would maybe be a full year of taxes versus a half year. So there's benefits to do it either way, but in the meantime, we're going to proceed with the public hearing to even consider the application, and that'll be like I said, at your March 18th meeting. And that really was the only agenda item that they had tonight, other than reports.
Questions? Okay, Park Board report.
The Park Board met this evening at 5 p.m. before this meeting. They had a couple action items, and they're going to recommend approval of the beach bids, and you have that on your agenda tonight. And also, there's a stump grinder option for you to consider. And then also, we received some direction from the Park Board. As you know, the Browns Park restroom is in the budget for this year, and they're kind of giving some direction on what they would like to see for that, so we can bring back some recommendations. They also talked a little bit about the rental of kayaks, and I gave them an example of a waiver of liability that people would have to sign. The informational item that they had, the Otto Bremer Fund grant for the Challenge Park, we were not successful in obtaining that, so we still have a shortfall in our funding. And so the Park Board is recommending that rather than a 2020 project, they consider it a 2021 and try to finish up that funding and have everything solidly in place so that we can go to bids maybe this fall and be first out of the chute in the next year. So that's kind of the timeline that they're preferring. And finally, they're going to look to tackle the update of the master park plan. So that's something that hasn't been done for some time. And it would entail the park plan itself plus putting all the updated park information on the website and trying to work with Google Maps a little bit more to get things correct and that type of thing. So kind of that's going to be the endeavors of the Park Board.
Questions? Comments? Okay, we'll move on to action items. 7A, approve resolution 2020-21, 3-2 off-sale liquor license.
So this is what we just spoke about with Coburn's. This is the formal resolution that would approve that license or that location to be a 3-2 off-sale license. And then if the city council approves it, then we would send that on to the state, and they're the ones that actually issue the license. So the action requested is to approve Resolution 20-21, approving the issuance of a 3-2 off-sale liquor license at Coburn's Incorporated, located at 214 12th Street.
Do I have a motion to approve resolution 2020-21?
Motion to approve.
Motion by Diane, do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Joe. Call the question, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 5 in favor, none against. 7B, approve boards and commissions and council openings.
So the HRA had a board opening. The HRA's openings, they run from April 1st to March 31st. So the term of Diane Lycum was expiring on March 31st, and she has submitted requests to be reappointed to that position. And so that would begin April 1st, 2020 and end March 31st, 2025. So that is the first part of the request tonight. The second part of the nomination request then would be to appoint Keith Johnson to fill the committee positions vacated by Dave Thomas. Would be the same positions that he held, with the exception of one, which was acting mayor, which you had previously voted for Heidi to be the acting mayor. So any of the positions like the airport board, operations committee, et cetera, that Dave was occupying would now go to Keith. So that is the second part of this motion.
Questions, concerns? Is that okay with you, Keith?
Yes, yeah,
Okay.
that would be fine.
Do I have a motion to appoint Diane to the position of the HRA board?
Not Diane.
Or Diane Lycum?
Yeah, oh, okay.
Diane Lycum,
Yes.
not your
Okay,
Diane.
okay.
I'll make that motion.
And
I'll second
do
it.
you want to include Keith
Yeah.
being in?
Yeah.
I will also
Yep.
include Keith.
Okay.
Yep.
We have a motion by Heidi and seconded by Diane
Yeah,
to make those appointments. Call the question. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
aye.
Opposed? Abstentions?
I'd like to, geez, I don't know, can you split that? I guess I would like to vote in favor of Diane being appointed to the board, but
We can.
I don't really want to endorse myself or the others, although I'd accept it. I mean, I don't know. What
We
the,
could do that.
Seems
You
somewhat
wanna withdraw the
presumptuous.
motion, or-
I can
Okay.
I can withdraw my motion.
All right. So she withdrew her motion, so now I'm entertaining a motion to appoint Diane Lycum to the HRA board.
I will make that motion.
Motion by Heidi.
I'll second.
Second by Diane. Call the question. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 5 in favor, none against. Now, can I entertain a motion to appoint Keith to the remaining opening spots at the council level?
I will also make that motion.
A motion
And
by
I'll
Heidi,
second that.
second by Diane. Call the question. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions?
I'll abstain.
Motion carries 4 in favor, none against, 1
But-
abstention.
But on second thought, no, I'm just kidding. Just kidding. Thank you.
Too late.
Too late.
Yeah, no.
Approve resignation of the ambulance EMT. I lost Vicki.
I'm sorry.
7C.
I was reading. So Mary Bertrand has submitted her resignation from the Sauk Center Ambulance Service effective March 31st, 2020. She has been with the city as an EMT since February 10th, 2004. So we're requesting to accept the resignation of Mary Bertrand from the Sauk Center Ambulance Service effective March 31st, 2020.
Do I have a motion to accept her resignation?
So moved.
Motion by Keith, seconded by Joe. Call the question. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 5 in favor, none against. Approve Resolution 2020-23 authorizing purchase of stump grinder attachment.
Okay, so due to the emerald ash borer in the city, the Public Works Department, they've been removing trees in the boulevards and on city property. The next step is to have all the stumps ground, which historically we have contracted that out to a contractor. But at the present time, with the stumps that they now have ready to be ground, I think we're up to about $4,500 that it would cost to have that contracted out. But for about $7,000, and actually it's $7,061.92, we could actually own our own stump grinder. And there's a picture there of similar to what we would purchase. It would hook up to the front of the toolcat, and then we would accomplish this with our own staff. We could continue to own it even after the emerald ash borer is done, like hopefully make it in a 5-year period, and then we could sell it, or we could own it. But it seems like financially it kind of makes more sense to go that way. We did get the quote with the state bid from Farm Right of Long Prairie, and it is a Bobcat SC60 stump grinder. You can see the picture there at $7,061.92. We do have, when we got the emerald ash borer grant, there is a part of that grant is for equipment. And we could use probably at least half of this purchase, we could purchase through the grant and maybe the other half through the tree money that we do have, or something to that effect. So when we found out that it was going to start costing that kind of money for stump grinding, we looked at other options, and I think financially for the city, it makes more sense to go with owning the grinder ourselves. Ben feels confident that that's something our staff can accomplish.
Questions?
I would anticipate this will probably be used quite a bit in the coming years.
In the next 5 years, well, I would say by the end of this year, we will have, if we were contracting out, we would pay more in contracting than it would cost to buy this.
Yeah.
So,
Yep. And then, has Emerald Ash Borer made quite an impact in the city
well,
trees so far?
because what we have found and what we have cut down so far, and what we have learned about emerald ash borer, it's kind of just a matter of time.
Yeah,
And we have a significant number of ash trees. So we kind of have a plan to be cutting in the winter, so many a year, to try to take care of the city-owned trees. But then there's a lot of privately owned trees too that are going to be there. So we'll notice an impact. And so we want to have tree planting to be a part of the program as well.
Okay.
So,
okay, thank you.
Any other questions, comments? Do I have a motion to approve Resolution 2020-23 authorizing purchase of stump grinder?
Motion to approve.
Motion by Joe, do I have a second?
I'll second.
Second by Diane. Call the question, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 5 in favor, none against. 7E, approved Resolution 2020-24 authorizing contract for beach improvements.
so at the February 5th council meeting, the council approved resolution authorizing us to solicit quotes for the beach improvement project. As you know, we did get a permit from MnDOT to put, or from the DNR, I should say, to put a beach in Sinclair Lewis Park this summer. So Ben did receive quotes from individuals known to perform the work, and we have 4 people that have submitted bids ranging from $15,247 to $20,057. And so it is our recommendation to use the low bid. Yes. So the low bid is Craig Cheetah for $15,247, and that is Resolution 2020-24.
Questions, comments?
Just one, I noticed there's a concrete bid in there as well. Is there concrete involved in this?
We'll be removing the sidewalk and putting a new sidewalk in.
Okay, and Mr. Cheetah's
He
bid
includes the concrete work as well.
includes that.
So each of these bids, they all got the same specs.
Okay,
Same number of yards of sand, same number of feet of sidewalk, and they all bid the same spec form.
okay, thank you.
I just got one question. Are they planning on starting as soon as possible so they can dump sand out on the ice, or are they gonna, how are they gonna do that?
The plan is they would all be able to start as soon as possible, including low bidder. And we're not actually putting any out in the water, it's just up to the edge of the water is where the sand blanket will stop.
Oh, okay,
The sand blanket is on land between the sidewalk and the edge of the water.
okay. I was thinking it was gonna be sand going all the way out into the lake.
That's a whole different permit.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was
That's part
thinking.
of it.
Okay. Any other questions or comments? Do I have a motion to approve Resolution 2020-24 authorizing the beach improvement contract to Craig Cheetah Construction for $15,247?
So moved.
Motion by Heidi,
Second.
second by Joe. Call the question, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 5 in favor, none against. 7F, approve resolution 2020-25, amending prior year and interfund transfers.
So in December of 2019, you approved year-end interfund transfers. At that time, we noted that there would be some interest reallocation that would occur to change the amount slightly. Those 2 adjustments have been made, resulting in the airport and the Getty Street project funds having a change. In addition, there's still an open invoice on the airport entrance road on the funding we're supposed to receive back from MnDOT. So we're just waiting for that to come so that we can close that fund, and because it's getting kind of late to do year-end, we just wanted to just delay that one. So what we're looking to do is to adjust the airport runway project fund from $46,478.52 to $46,506.08, and the Getty Street project fund from $44,274.57 to $45,974.88. So and then the last one was the entrance road. We would just remove that from the transfer for December, and we'll close that fund in 2020 instead. So that this is just simply so that we can close these two funds and transfer the money into other funds. So we're looking to approve Resolution 2020-25, amending the 2019 year-end interfund transfers.
Questions, comments? Do I have a motion to approve Resolution 2020-25?
So moved.
Motion by Keith, do I have a second?
I'll say. Oh,
Second by Diane.
Okay.
Call the question, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 5 in favor, none against. 7G, EMT advancement.
Scott Adamits has been working as a probationary EMT since October of 2019. Ambulance Director Struford is recommending that he be advanced from probationary to an EMT B Level 1 effective March 5th. He's exceeded the minimum patient contacts needed to advance. In fact, you need a minimum of 20. I believe he's at an excess of 40. So we're looking to approve the advancement of Scott to EMT B Level 1 effective March 5th, which is tomorrow, 2020.
Questions, comments? Do I have a motion to approve the advancement of Scott Adamits?
Motion to approve.
Motion by Joe, do I have a second?
I'll second.
Second by Heidi. Call the question, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 5 in favor, none against. Unfinished business, 2020 street improvement projects, Elm Street North and South and Lake Street. Chuck?
Good evening, Council, Mr. Mayor. Just a brief update on the project. We're putting the final touches on the big bid package together. The plan to bid is March 26th, so approximately 3 weeks from tomorrow. Is when we'll be opening bids here. It's kind of the only really update on the project I got, other than this petition. Maybe we can just jump into that. There's a petition by, I believe, 11 people, 11 signatures by 5 different residents on the project, petitioning to not install the sidewalk. I think there's kind of 2 options to go with this. I think it makes sense to install all the sidewalk on Lake and Elm, or really none of it, eliminating the Lake Street addition kind of sidewalk to nowhere.
Okay. What's on the sidewalk petition? Actually, there's only 5 affected property owners, even though the list is for both sides of the street. But the east side of the street, we were not planning on doing anything over there due to in fact, we'd have to put retaining walls in if we did it. So, what's the council's thoughts on sidewalk on the west side of Elm Street?
I think the public safety aspect of it, as well as the potential future growth of the hospital itself, could impact the number of people who would be potentially using sidewalk in that area, employees and patients. So I think we should continue with
I would
the
tend,
proposed.
I agree with that too. I mean, we've seen some disruptions at the hospital during the program, and that street was used pretty heavily for parking. And there was a lot of pedestrian traffic, and I don't see that abating much in the future, so.
Yeah, I'd agree. I mean, I think the walkability for the community, it's a benefit to have that sidewalk continue on up to the hospital. You've got the employees. I mean, it's a
Yeah.
option for them to go walking on their lunch breaks and stuff, that we can keep them off the roadways, gives them another path, and I think it's a benefit to the community.
This is not an extra cost that was This was more or less included in the project cost.
The sidewalk's been included with the preliminary assessments. all the way
Yeah,
from the
this
beginning,
is not
yes.
a second after the fact, so, okay. Thank you.
One of the things that I've thought of is it's basically, you look at the number of street projects that we've done here in town, and even going north on 71, or not 71, but
Main Street.
up toward Fairway Pines in that area, by putting that trail in, you know, and over at the fairgrounds, you know, when we did Ash Street, we put the sidewalk along the fairgrounds at the point, you know, mainly because of pedestrian traffic. And to require someone else to have it and not because 5 people don't like the idea, but there's also 5 of them that have come to me and says, if they don't get their sidewalk, then you're taking the one out in front of me on Lake Street. Well, okay, now we're going backwards on public safety. So to me, it's, you know, we need to leave that in and do what's right. But I don't know if we need a motion or on that, do we? Or do you want us to?
It doesn't need a motion because you're not changing anything.
Okay, we're just recognizing the fact that
Consensus.
the petition came in and that we discussed it, and we don't see a reason for change, unless someone else is.
It's not an extra, I mean, it's, like I said, it's part of
Okay.
the project.
So, that's all I got.
Okay,
Thanks.
Thank you.
sounds good. We don't have any new business. Brings us to our consent agenda. We have schedule of claims, unpaid claims of $50,074.76 for the same total. We have resolution number 2020-26, accepting contributions of $164.43 from the men's card playing group to be allocated to the senior center. We have $500 contribution from Minnesota Dark House and Angling Association to be allocated to the fire department. We have a $500 donation from Ice Oval to be allocated to the fire department. And we have a $500 contribution from Minnesota Dark House and Angling Association to be allocated to the ambulance department. And on behalf of the city and the council, I want to thank those groups for their donations. Is there any questions about the consent agenda? No. Hearing none, do I have a motion to approve the consent calendar as presented?
Motion to approve.
Motion by Diane, do we have a second? Second by Heidi.
There you go.
Call the question, all those in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 5 in favor, none against. Informational items.
Just a couple informational items. We do have, the charter has another lineup change, which I'm required to bring to you. But the second item of it is the hazardous mitigation plan. And we are part of the Stearns County Hazardous Mitigation Plan. And what these are is different things that have been identified as safety, public safety improvements that could be used in the city. And how this works is if there ever is a hazard in Minnesota and federal funding is allocated to Minnesota, then we can apply for a grant for those funds to do this. So some of the things are to replace another old siren, to build a storm shelter, do security around the water plant, maybe protect the wells. We have one in there for drainage catch basins at the viaduct. These are just different items that have been identified over the years that we could use funding for. But it kind of sits there until there's some kind of a declaration in the state, and then we can apply for those funds. So that's really what it's for, and I know that not everybody's been here when we first developed these. They've been updated some, but that's kind of how it works. So if there was a disaster declaration, we might say, okay, there's funds now allocated to the state of Minnesota. We want to apply to replace 2 sirens. Or we want to apply to build a storm shelter, or we want to apply to do something. So that they're just kind of mitigating future risk by giving us funding to help us do that. So that's really what this is. This is just 2 pages out of a very thick plan for Stearns County. These are our 2 pages. So this kind of information, if you want to see the whole plan, I can certainly give it to you as well. That's all I have.
Questions or comments? That brings us to the end of our agenda. Do I have a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
Motion by Heidi, do I have a second?
I'll second that.
Second by Keith. Call the question, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All right.
Opposed? Motion carries 5 in favor, none against. Motion, meeting adjourned.